Welcome to Kodak's History of Video Games. My name's Tyler Osby.
And I'm Mike Coletta.
And this week, we're not in the same room together because we had to go back to our regular lives in fire-stricken Washington State and Tropical Storm Hillary-stricken Southern California.
We're really hitting the gauntlet of terrible podcasting weathers right now.
We really are. And
Delilah agrees.
Delilah agrees. And there was an earthquake in Southern California also on this day. It's actually, we'll see how it goes tomorrow, I guess. But today has been pretty light as far as Tropical Storm Hillary goes. So we prepared, and now we have a full gas tank in one of our cars, and we did it for nothing.
Well, you're on the second floor of your thing, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
So that's good at least, right?
Yeah. But even the rain here is not that bad.
Yeah, I remember working in Burbank. This is off topic, but everyone's going to have to deal with it for a second because now I'm just talking to my friend Tyler, okay? And I did a temp job, and it was raining all day, and I was like, oh, that's fine. I got back in my car around 4 o'clock, and one of the roads was a river in Burbank, California. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, it's not prepared for this. It does not have the infrastructure for this.
No, they do not have the infrastructure for that down here. So, but so far, so good. We'll see how it goes tomorrow on Monday. Maybe I'll be flooded and drowned while you're listening to this. Who knows?
Oh, wow. This got real dark. Okay. Well, let's lighten it up with a tier list. How about that?
Yeah. We did a tier list a couple of weeks ago on video game protagonists. And we sort of went with like a list that we found online on the tier lists or tiermaker.com website. And it was pretty good, but we were missing a lot of protagonists that we truly love. So we picked a whole bunch ourselves that were not on that list. So go back and listen to part 1 if you missed it. And now we're going to talk about some protagonists that we thought were missed.
And we're treating this like a new list, right? This is a new setup.
Yeah. The rankings here are not comparable to the rankings on the other lists. So we picked a whole bunch of things ourselves, mostly because we love them. And they're probably all S tier in our minds, but we're going to try to break that out. So F tier does not mean bad because we picked these. You know, there's a lot of bad protagonists. We don't need to talk about all the bad protagonists. Let's talk about the good ones and rank the good ones against each other, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So great curve here.
Can we start with one of my favorites? It's also on the top of the list.
Yes.
We're going to start with Doom Guy, the Doom Slayer.
What a great name for a protagonist, because this is a protagonist that doesn't have a name and was never intended to have a name.
Yeah, it's weird because I know we've not really given silent protagonists a favorable mention on this.
Mm-mm.
But this, I would say, is the exception to the rule. Doom Guy works for Doom. And that's why I like him.
And I think he's even better in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal. He's fine in the first 2 Dooms. I haven't really spent a lot of time with Doom 3, but he's fine in the first 2 Dooms as just an avatar for the protagonist. He's the eyes you see through. That's fine.
Yeah, they give him an origin story in Doom Eternal and Doom 2016.
Yeah.
So he does have a backstory. So he's got that going for him, but he is silent. I kind of want to give him, I want to go A, but I think that might be high.
Let's put him in the B tier for now, and then we can adjust if we want to later.
Okay, sounds good with me.
Do you have a list of where you're keeping track of these, or should we just?
I'm keeping track of it in a Google document that we have here, and we're putting him in the B tier. Yeah, okay. I have this right here.
Great. Okay, cool. I am also in that Google document.
Perfect.
All right. Next on the list, after Doom Guy, we have Yoshi.
Ooh, Yoshi. I mean, in my heart of hearts, I want to put all the Nintendo characters as S tier.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the badump bump, I want to put him up at A tier at minimum. Is A tier okay for Yoshi?
Okay. Yoshi is so great because he was introduced in, well, we all got to know and love him in Super Mario World, but he did actually come out a little bit before that, I want to say. When was the Yoshi game on NES? Was that after Super Mario? Let's see. I'm looking it up right now. 1991, December. So I guess that would have been after.
Did they just know they had a hit on their hands? So they're like, we got to make Yoshi. We got to give him his own thing.
Yeah, because Super Mario World came out in 1990, so that was the year later. So yeah, Super Mario World must have been the introduction of Yoshi. When was Yoshi's Cookie? Was that before Yoshi's Cookie? 1992. Okay, so yeah, Super Mario World was the first time we saw Yoshi, and we all fell in love with him. Everybody loves Yoshi. And he had all those cool superpowers for when you ate specific kinds of bad guys. And there was a whole bunch of different colors of them. Plus, Yoshi is strong enough to carry his own games. We had Yoshi's Island, which I would say he's the main protagonist of Super Mario World 2, Yoshi's Island, even though Baby Mario and Luigi are in there. I would say um, Yoshi's Story on the N64. Did you ever play that?
Oh yeah, I love Yoshi's Story.
Me
So
too.
cute.
It's like baby's first platformer. You can beat it in a sitting, and there's a few branching paths. Like I think you play 6 levels, but there's probably like 24 possible different levels you can play. Oh man, that game's super fun.
It's just adorable and it rips. Yeah,
Yep.
I would say Yoshi is a solid A candidate. I just don't want to put him in the S tier because I feel like there are some that I'm like, I would want above Yoshi on this
Yeah,
list for me anyway.
I agree.
All right. So the next one is going to be the thing that makes me hated by our community.
Ooh, what's that?
I'm not a big fan of Kirby,
Oh,
but I
tell
don't know
me
why.
more.
I don't have a reason. I just don't. I just never got into it. I never got into the games. Kirby's. I get he's cute. He's a cute guy, and he wears little hats when he sucks up people. That's actually a point in his favor.
Yeah,
My whole basis of Kirby was Super Smash Brothers. Let's get real.
me too. I never really played Kirby games before Smash Brothers. I had a lot of fun playing as Kirby in Smash Brothers for a little while. He was like kind of my favorite character in like the N64 days. So, I'm like 10-year-old Tyler, like really digging
Yeah.
Kirby. But I've never really been able to get into his games. I was never even particularly interested in them. I remember when Nintendo Power would be talking about Kirby 64 and Kirby Air Ride and all these games that were Kirby. I was like, I don't know, I don't care.
All I'm gonna say is if Kirby and Yoshi were tied to train tracks on two separate lines, I know who I'm saving.
Me too.
Actually on one line, they would have you on one line.
Yeah,
I would. I would. Sorry, I'm trying to do the trolley problem with Nintendo characters, and it's not working in my brain right now. I got that hot forest fire smoke brain. It's not doing too well. All my windows are sealed and it's hot outside. It's terrible. So,
Yeah,
I think Kirby, and this is where I'm going to make people mad because I agree that he's cute, and I know to some people he's their S tier, but for me personally, he's like C tier.
do it. Make him C
Do you
tier.
want to make him C tier with me?
I make him D tier.
Oh, we just got demoted. Bye, Kirby. You're in the D tier now.
Let's put someone in the D tier.
Yeah, what's funny is we're gonna get annihilated in the Discord for this, but I'm okay with it because the next guy is an easy S. If we could go to a T tier, we could for this guy.
Oh yeah. Who are we talking about, Mike?
We're talking about Luigi.
Oh man, even better than Mario. S plus tier. Ouija.
I
Get
would
him.
I would jump in front of a moving bus for Luigi.
Me
That's how
too.
much I love Luigi.
Gotta love
Luigi is an S tier for
it.
me.
Yep. By far.
Give it up for our lovable cowards doing brave things they don't want to do, but they
Yep.
try their hardest.
But they do
For
it.
Luigi.
He's saved Mario countless times. How many times has Mario saved Luigi?
None, except in the Mario movie. Spoilers? Spoilers? That's probably a spoiler.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true. In the new Mario movie?
Do I need to censor that, you think?
No, probably not. I think it's a kids movie.
We're okay. It's a kids movie. Everything's fine. And I was very vague about it, so it's all good.
I don't think
Okay.
anybody was expecting that movie to end with Luigi not being saved.
Luigi just dies a gruesome death in the end of the Mario movie. It's very controversial for everyone involved, and no one liked it.
Yeah, it was a really bad movie. We were all mad because Luigi died. Did you play the Luigi levels in New Super Mario Brothers U?
I did not. No, the specific Luigi levels.
Yep, they made a whole game just for Luigi.
Oh, I love that. I should give that a go.
Yeah, that is a great underrated. I don't want to say underrated, but I think it kind of flew under the radar a little bit. That platformer, the New Super Mario Brothers U, because it was on the Wii U, and then it got re-released on the Switch, but by then it was old, even for people who hadn't played it yet. Great games, just classic Mario side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah. The next game. Well, actually, do you want to do the next character? I probably have more to say because I played through the newer games.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but the next character is BJ Blazkowicz from the classic Wolfenstein series. That I guess it's not even classic; it's new, but the machine head ones are. But like
yeah, the newer ones are. Yeah, but I mean, Wolfenstein 3D is a pivotal,
and
seminal.
that's still BJ Blazkowicz, still technically.
And many consider it to be, I'm sure you can nitpick about what the first person shooter was, but like Wolfenstein was kind of it, right?
It really was.
So,
Yeah, I think for me, I want to put BJ Blazkowicz up in the A tier for the way he's been presented, but he's kind of it's hard because he's definitely a stereotype, a little bit like Duke Nukem, and I hated hard on Duke Nukem last time. Like I really
He's
you
our
know.
only one in the F tier from last.
Yeah. I really hated him, but BJ Blazkowicz, they took what could have been a Duke Nukem and gave him a decent backstory that explained a lot, and I really liked that. So for that reason, I want to put BJ Blazkowicz in the A tier.
Yeah,
If I
BJ
could
is
have,
the guy that Duke Nukem is making fun of, except for BJ sort of was fleshed out later and better than Duke Nukem.
yeah, if I could have BJ Blazkowicz riding Yoshi in a game, even better, while
Dang.
dual wielding machine guns. That's what I want. That's the dream.
Hey, you're a PC gamer now. You can make your own mods.
That's true. I can make my own game. I can go my own way.
That's right.
Awesome. Oh, wait, I just put S tier on him on accident. I'm gonna put A tier. He's A tier to me. A tier. The next the next five characters we have, all Grand Theft Auto protagonists that
Three
we
of them are from the
missed.
same game.
Three of them are from the same game. I don't think we should do them together because they're all different.
That's true. There is an internal tier list among the three from Grand Theft Auto 5, Trevor, Michael, and Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
And I will rank them relative to each other here. I'm going to go in that order: Trevor, Michael, Franklin.
Really?
Yeah.
So
Trevor is the most interesting because he's just off
he's a
the rails.
crazy person, and
Crazy.
he's like really, like, I would say, like a textbook case of someone who doesn't feel anything, like a sociopath.
Yeah.
And you get to play as him in this video game.
Yeah. He's like a sociopath. I think Michael is like a psychopath in the sense that he understands feelings and he pretends to have them, but doesn't really. But he wants to, kind
I
of.
think Franklin's the most likable though, because he's
That's
just
true.
trying to work and make
That's true.
money.
You know what? I put Michael below Franklin. Franklin, I'll go Trevor just for the sheer insanity. He makes him the most interesting. Franklin is he's just a dude trying to get by. And maybe he makes some bad decisions on the way, but who hasn't in their life, right?
Yeah.
Michael,
Not a lot of redeeming qualities in
not a lot of
Michael.
redeeming. He's trying, but not very hard. It's
What
been
do
a
you
while
think?
since I
What do
played.
you think for the rankings though of these three?
I want to put Trevor A tier.
Okay, I'd go A tier for Trevor.
I'll go B tier for Franklin because I think he is less interesting than Trevor.
He's definitely the more likable one of all three, though, for sure.
Yeah, that's true.
And do
So
we want to put Michael in the first C tier, or should we just put him like in the D or F?
C tier's okay, I think.
C tier, okay.
And I would be willing to put Franklin in the A tier next to Trevor just because they are interesting for different reasons.
Yeah. Can I tell you like the thing about me for the other two? Because we have Tommy Vercetti from Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and then we have CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. I love Vice City. I love that it's a parody. I love like everything about it. It's probably my favorite Grand Theft Auto, and I love Tommy Vercetti, but I like CJ more.
Mm-hmm.
And I just liked CJ as a character in San Andreas.
Yeah, he's a little
Because
bit more.
he's a real person, whereas Tommy Vercetti is kind of a parody of a person, a
Yeah,
parody of like all '80s movies wrapped up in one.
yeah, he's very funny as a parody, and he's a good parody, but he's not a very good character. Especially if you're comparing him to CJ, he was just a good character.
Yeah, I kind of want to put CJ in A tier.
Okay.
And I want to put Tommy Vercetti in B tier. I think C's too low for him because I want to reward a good parody. It's okay to have a parody character.
Yeah.
It's just you can't do it terribly like Duke Nukem.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
B
Tommy
tier.
Vercetti.
I'll take B tier.
Awesome. I mean, the next character I feel like is an easy S tier for you.
Oh yeah, Samus Aran.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I will agree with you hard on that.
And she has some silent protagonist qualities, especially in the first few Metroids. In like Metroid 2, and Super Metroid, she's very silent protagonist esque. In Metroid Fusion, also known as Metroid 4, she gets fleshed out a lot because you can kind of see a lot of her thoughts. And maybe they do that a little bit in some of the other games, but they really make her a character in Metroid Fusion, and then they put her up against her commanding officer. I want to say his name was Alan, who like she sort of has a back and forth with, or her ship AI is like based on her commanding officer Alan, so they have like kind of a history. And that's kind of cool. I didn't really play Other M very much, and for all of its flaws as a game, I understand that maybe the story was okay, or at least that's what they wanted you. Like when they sort of presented this game, they were like, "This is a Metroid game with a story." I know that game wasn't very well received, and I haven't played it, so I can't speak too much on it. But I think it seemed like they were at least trying to do something there. And then Metroid Dread, she's just more Samus. There's not really a whole lot going on there.
Yeah. I think Metroid, it's hard because I do feel like she's a silent protagonist, but you really feel like what she's going through when you're playing. Is that, and
Especially
maybe
in the
that's
competition.
more for like, I guess that's more of a props to the people that make Metroid than Samus Aran as a character. But I
Yeah.
I mean, you want to put her in the S tier? I mean, this is our list, and you let me put some people in the S tier before, so
I'll put her up there with Luigi.
you
Yeah.
put her with Luigi in the S tier.
Yep.
Nice. Do you think they'd be friends IRL, Luigi and Samus?
I don't know if Samus really has any friends IRL.
Oh, that's a shame. Well, we're gonna put her in the S tier anyway. Maybe she'll make friends with Luigi. Okay,
Yeah.
that feels good. Next character, Marcus Phoenix.
Oh man, the
You and
Gears
I
series.
played Gears together, so we're very familiar with Marcus
We
Phoenix.
played them all. We played every Gears game
We
together.
should we have put the guy in that one random Gears game on this list too?
Uh,
Just me saying it that way doesn't really sell it very well, honestly.
you talking about the guy from Judgment?
Yeah, what's it? He's the buddy of Marcus in the games, and
Yeah,
he's
he's
the
in the other game.
protagonist in Judgment.
I forget what that guy's name.
Me not knowing his name doesn't make me
Gears
want to
of
put him on the
War.
list, quite
Judge-
frankly.
Let me check here. The game is Damon Baird.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was like the technical guy.
he was the technical guy, and they gave him his own game, and the game was decent. We played it together,
Mhm.
but I mean, I don't even think he deserves to be on the list. Yeah, I said it. He's only got one game. He's not Marcus Phoenix.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not
And
the
there are a lot of
Marcus
fun
Phoenix.
characters in Gears of War. I mean, you got Dom also in Gears of War, who's pretty fun.
I would argue Marcus Phoenix is like probably one of the lesser like cool characters compared to everyone else. Because
Yeah,
like Dom is great. Like
yeah,
you feel for Dom, right? He lost his wife. He's got
yep.
a purpose. Marcus Phoenix just loves murder, and there's nothing wrong with that in a video game, especially about like evil aliens that live below the surface of the earth. There's nothing wrong with it. But I don't know. I don't think he goes up very high for me, Marcus Phoenix. I think he's like a C. Is that
Okay.
harsh?
I'll allow it. I think that's okay. I mean, we're comparing him to other people on this list, right? Not necessarily in the pantheon of video game protagonists, because if we were comparing literally every video game protagonist, everybody on this list is S tier compared to all the garbage
Yeah,
that's out
yeah.
there.
Well, I'm gonna hit you with an F tier that I think you're not gonna be ready for. Just so you
Okay.
know.
All right. I'm ready.
And I might cause a rift in our relationship as friends, but I think we can survive it. So just warning you ahead of
Okay.
time.
Is that
But
what's happening right now, or is
no,
it
it's not Crash Bandicoot.
okay?
It's not Crash. I'm
Oh,
not gonna
man.
do that to my boy Crash. I love Crash. I
Oh,
love everything about him. I think he's ridiculous. And he's like very much in the same camp for me as like a Yoshi, where he's just
yeah.
silly and he's a cartoon character. And there's nothing wrong with a cartoon character every once in a while.
He comes from this kind of like second generation of mascot protagonists, right? Because if you say the first generation of that is like Mario and Sonic and all of those people from like the NES, Super Nintendo days, where like a mascot sold, like that was it. Like if it had a good mascot in the game, like it was a good game, right? Crash Bandicoot kind of was the second wave of that, where that was still kind of true. If you had a good mascot and a game to back it up, you could do something with that. I think Spyro the Dragon kind of fits in there as well. Those like PlayStation protagonists. And
Yeah.
then we get into like the third generation when we hit to the PlayStation 2 era and that stuff kind of starts falling off. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Crash Bandicoot, I think he's not quite on the level of Mario. He's not an S tier, but I think he's an A tier.
I mean, just his time spent standing outside of the Nintendo headquarters alone
With
gives
the
him
megaphone.
yeah, puts him up on A tier.
Yeah, those ads were pretty good.
Yeah, he's A tier to me. Crash, you're A. Never change, Crash.
Yeah. Did you ever see that like VHS tape where they talk about Star Fox 64 and it's like Crash Bandicoot is it Crash? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just the guys from like Sony or something like kidnap people from Nintendo. I don't know. I can't remember it well enough to be able to talk about it here, but there's a really funny VHS tape that I remember watching on tape back in the day. And if you haven't seen it, I'm going to find it for you after this.
Yeah, I want to know about it.
It's
I want
really
to know.
funny.
Can I add a random one to the bottom of this list?
Yep.
Will you allow it?
I will allow it.
I don't even know if you'll know who he's from, but I'm going to put him on there.
Okay.
And it's not the rapper.
I was going to say, who?
It's not that Mike Jones. It's a different. We'll just do it right now. I just thought about it.
I don't know who. I don't even know who this is. I
This
only
is
know.
the lead character in the video game Star Tropics that I did an episode on. And
Oh,
they got 2 games, so I felt like I could do it.
yeah.
Mike Jones is an amalgamation of what people in like game developers in Japan thought an American kid protagonist in the 90s would be.
Okay.
And he's kind of Duke Nukem in this way. And I wanted to give another example of something that I'm like, it was endearing how much he's like cliche,
Mhm.
if that kind of makes sense. Like he uses a yo-yo as a weapon, he drinks cola, he's a baseball bat, like he's very a cold-blooded American, right?
Ness
And
from Earthbound series, right?
yeah, we could do Ness also from Earthbound as well. I thought about putting Ness on here too.
Yeah.
I haven't finished Earthbound though, so I feel kind of weird.
I haven't played any of them, but he's in that same kind of vein of like, this is what our interpretation of like a child, like a kid protagonist in America would be like. Here's every kid, right?
Yeah,
And
and for that I think it's
all that
endearing.
psychic powers.
Yeah, so I kind of want to put him up at like a B or a C, you
Okay.
know? Like just another example of a parody created character that's like made off of stereotypes of a certain thing that I think works though, like Tommy
Yeah.
Vercetti. I'm
Yeah.
going to put him at C actually. He's not going to be a B tier like Tommy Vercetti, but he's still fun. And you know, we were talking about old Nintendo and I was like, I should give him a shout.
Yeah. All of
He deserves it.
our Star Tropics heads out there, they're gonna love that.
Which is kind of me. I kind of want to beat it. I just got frustrated and I stopped and I was like, what
Ooh,
am I doing? There's
so
better games to play right now. Okay. Do you want to go back to the top of the list here and go with our next character that
yeah,
we both now know and know?
we both now know. Well, maybe you were gonna say no and love, but then you
And
stopped.
then I said no and no because this is my F tier.
No, F tier. You're putting Sora from the Kingdom Hearts series in the F tier?
Can I explain my reasoning for this
Yeah,
real
you
quick?
better.
Are you okay with it?
Yeah,
Okay.
man.
What if I just was like, it's because I don't like him? No. Kingdom Hearts is not about Sora. I feel like it's about all the characters you see while you're playing as Sora. And that makes him kind of mediocre to me.
Damn.
This might be my most like hot take I think I've ever had on this
That's the most hot
podcast.
take you've had with me on the podcast because I
Yeah.
disagree more.
I mean,
I
maybe I've only played with you through 1 and 2 and the card one. What was the card one called?
Rechain of Memories.
Rechain of Memories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the names just get me too.
Yeah, no, look, there's a lot to make fun of in Kingdom Hearts, and it's all deserved. I'm not here to defend Kingdom Hearts as a series, even though I do love it, despite all of its quirks. But I think Sora is a great character. I think by the end of that series, he has grown and changed in a lot of ways, in ways that all those other characters that you come across, especially the Disney characters, none of the Disney characters really grow and change, right, over the course of a series. In a series that is constantly changing who the background characters are, who those like supporting protagonists are. Sora is like the one, or one of, there are a few, but like one of the rocks in the series that actually grows and changes and becomes a different person by the end. And for that reason, I think he's a great character.
See, and I haven't gotten that far yet because right now for Kingdom Hearts, for me, Tyler, it feels a little bit like, you know, it had those moments in Destiny too, where it's like an amusement park ride.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it feels like, except instead of a roller coaster, you go on a gummy ship between Disney worlds.
Yeah, well,
And maybe that's because I'm not far enough in the game. I'm willing to negotiate if you, and you brought up a good point. I haven't finished the game yet. So if we don't want to put him in the F tier, which I feel like you don't,
no, I don't want to put him in the F tier. We finished 2 games with him, so like you do have some experience.
I never finished Kingdom Hearts 2 though with you, and the
No, we're still
Rechain of
working on that. We got to come back to that.
yeah, Rechain of Memories. It was a blur of cards.
Yeah, I do think there is something to be said for the way that we're playing. While it's very fun to like dunk on things during the cutscenes, we are not taking it seriously as we play, which is fine. But if you want to like get those things out of like a character analysis of Sora, we can't be making these nuts jokes during the cutscene, right? Which is what we're doing the whole time, and it's super fun. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm having a lot of fun.
Am I gonna have to censor that? You think?
I don't think so.
Nah, it'll be fine. We'll get emails about it though. Okay.
So yeah.
What if I just hated overly large shoes? What if that was my reasoning?
Well, hey, if that's your sticking point, then I can't help you there. His shoes do get a little bit more manageable in the second game, but they are still oversized.
They are huge. I mean, it's kind of the art aesthetic. All right, what if this was a rift right now? What if we've never done this? What if it's a whatever it is for you and it's an F for me?
Ooh, it's a
People have asked us.
quantum.
People have asked us to like blind do these with without each other knowing
Oh, that's a
and go in together.
that would be really fun. We should do that for a tier list that we
We'll
do.
do that for a future tier list, but
Yeah.
I am not impressed by Sora as of right now.
Sora is the quantum superposition of protagonist because I want to put him S tier. I love him so much. And so we are truly fully divided on this S and F tier, which means he's
We are.
probably a great character if we can disagree so much on him.
That's true. You might have that might be the point of points, but for now, I'm gonna put Mike says F, Tyler says S. Huge rift in friendship.
We may end up canceling podcast over.
That's what like ends it for us. I don't
Uh,
know. I just
this
feel
is how
like
you feel
we
about solid
ride with
gold.
Sora we're rode with Sora through one, through Rechain of Memories, most of two, and I just feel like we're paying attention to literally everyone else.
Well, that is true. We are. I think we are not giving him a fair shake in that because there's so much more interesting things happening. And I guess you could make the argument that, like, well, if he's not interesting on his own, then he's a bad character. However, I would say that he is in a unique position of literally everything around him is stuff that we already know. It's all Disney. Like it's designed for us to be like Leo with the beer can and that meme, like pointing at the screen, going, "Oh, I know that guy," right? Like it's hard to compete with that as a character, and that makes him seem bad. But I don't think he actually is that bad. Now, if somebody wants to do a character analysis and tell me why Sora is actually a terrible character, okay, fine. But I think he's great, and I love him, and I love Kingdom Hearts, and we have
Sora
a
2024. You heard it from Tyler first. Vote
yep.
Sora
Sora
2024.
24. Hey, if he's out there fighting evil with his giant keyblade, I would vote for him.
What if his tagline was "Big shoes can't lose"? That's his tagline as president. I would vote for Sora in that case. Honestly, that would be a better than most options. Okay, let's move on. Ratchet and Clank.
Oh
This is all
man,
you. This is all
these
the last three are actually mostly all you because I don't know that much about them.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank are from I'm gonna call them third generation mascot platformer characters. We're on the decline here. The mascot platformer is still big in the PS2 era, right? We're talking 2002 is when the first Ratchet and Clank game came out. We had just come off the Super Nintendo, lots of great mascot platformers. The rough transition to 3D, especially for mascot platformers, was mostly successful in the PlayStation era. Those games were very much not great games, but they were carried by great characters. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, your Bubsy 3Ds. Just kidding, not that game. Ratchet and Clank though is is in the generation of those characters that is just perfecting the 3D platformer, right? We already did it with Super Mario 64 and Crash Bandicoot and Spyro games, and now we're just perfecting it because it doesn't change a whole lot. I mean, it does, but it doesn't change fundamentally. What Ratchet and Clank does is adds weapons to the whole thing, so it becomes a little bit more of like a 50-50 third person shooter slash platformer. I would say the first one is probably 25% third person shooter, 75% platformer, and then it kind of as the series goes on, that ratio changes. But I think they're great characters in the first three games, especially because I think they grow and change over those games. Especially Ratchet, who's kind of in the first game he's like on his own, kind of I don't care about you, and then he like grows to love Clank by the end of the game. We don't really get that in the remake on PS4. That's why part of the reasons why that game was not as fun, and the movie is just not a good movie. But I love them, and I'm going to put them at A tier because I don't think they're as good as those other um,
Okay, but
mascot
you're
pop-
mostly saying it's those original games where they really have a
Yeah,
relationship that you're like, that's the A tier.
yeah, and don't get me wrong, the PS3 Ratchet and Clank games are all fantastic. Even the remake or the reboot on PS4 of the first game is still a good game. The story is not that great, which is a shame because all they had to do was copy and paste the story from the first game, and they didn't really do that right. The newest one, Rift Apart, which is just came out on PC, that is a phenomenal game, really fun. They add in some new characters that are really, really great. If you haven't played it, you really should. It's on PC, no excuses. Buy that game now.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, well, we got another PlayStation mascot
Yep.
characters, Jack and Daxter.
Jack and Daxter. They have 4 games. If you're not counting the kart racer that came out after the third game. They're from the same generation as Ratchet and Clank. Um, they tried to be a little better than Ratchet and Clank. Like they tried to do some different stuff. Like the first Jack and Daxter game is sort of your standard platformer. Jack is a silent protagonist. There's really nothing going on there. Daxter's very fun. He's like kind of the wisecracking sidekick, right? When you get to the second game, that game came out after Grand Theft Auto 3 had kind of done its thing on the industry, which is a huge watershed moment in gaming. Like there may not be a bigger shift in gaming that you can point to a single game and say this game changed everything as Grand Theft Auto 3. Um, and so Jack 2 is basically Grand Theft Auto 3, but Jack and Daxter, and Jack becomes this like brooding, like he's a not silent protagonist anymore. He's like really angry and he's trying to get revenge. And he's a fun character, but I don't love him as much as I love Ratchet and Clank, so I'm gonna put him at the B tier. And they don't have any more games past the PS2 era to sort of give them any chance to flesh them out. But Jack 2 is fine. Jack 3 is a really good game, and you should play it. Jack 2 is a little too hard, I think. They really found a great balance with Jack 3.
Good.
So, yeah.
Nice. All right. This is the last one on our list. And we've thought, like, I thought about Borderlands characters and all sorts of stuff, but that just gets into the weeds too much.
Yeah.
Sam Fisher.
Sam Fisher.
Super Spy.
Super Spy, the more serious version of Solid Snake.
Yeah.
You have much
the gritty Xbox Solid Snake.
Yeah. And those games were real like sort of military simulators. Like Metal Gear Solid on the surface, when you look at it, you go, oh, it's like another military game with a super cool protagonist who's whatever. And then you sort of get into it and it's like actually kind of a goofy series, but still takes itself seriously, but like still pretty goofy. The Splinter Cell series is not that. And we've done a whole episode series on the Splinter Cell games, I think. So you can go back and listen to those. But Sam Fisher is very much a serious protagonist. He's kind of a blank slate in the first game. He's got a personality. He's sort of a grizzled veteran. He's been here before. He's done the thing. But in the third game, or maybe it's the fourth game, Double Agent, I think it's Double Agent, his daughter gets kidnapped. And so then the stakes get very personal. And after Double Agent, then you've got Conviction. Maybe it's Conviction where his daughter gets kidnapped. But in Conviction, he's like, this is a personal mission. It's a vendetta. And he's got some like Max Payne vibes, I think. I haven't played Max Payne, but I think there's some Max Payne vibes going on there. And then you've got Splinter Cell Blacklist, which is also pretty good. And he sort of continues that, him sort of operating on his own. He's I want to say in the last game in Blacklist, he's like on his own, but with the government still. But I don't know. He's got a lot of funding, so he must still be doing something with the government. But yeah, I like him a lot. I think he kind of has some interesting backstory stuff. I wish that they would make a Splinter Cell movie because I think there's probably something that could be done there that could be pretty good. You could do like you could get a franchise going there of like Mission Impossible kind of,
Oh,
sneaking
yeah, for sure.
and you saving the world kind of stuff. So I
That'd
love
be
him,
great.
but I'm going to put him at the C tier because that's how I'm feeling right now.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll read down the list here. Just no particular order of tiers. We're just going to read down it. Doom Guy was B tier. Yoshi was A tier. Kirby was D tier. Luigi S tier. BJ Blazkowicz A tier. Trevor from Grand Theft Auto 5 A tier. Michael from Grand Theft Auto 5 C tier. Franklin from Grand Theft Auto 5 B tier. CJ from Grand Theft Auto San Andreas was A tier. Tommy Vercetti from Grand Theft Auto Vice City B tier. Samus Aran S tier. Marcus Phoenix C tier. Crash Bandicoot A tier. Gonna skip that one to the end because it's so contentious. Ratchet and Clank A tier. Jack and Jackster B tier. Sam Fisher C tier. Mike Jones C tier. And finally, Sora from Kingdom Hearts. I say F tier. Tyler says S tier. Huge rift right now.
Friendship.
It's going to destroy our friendship.
Man, yeah. Send us your emails. Tell us if you love or hate Sora, because I want to hear about it.
I want to hear about how wrong I am. That's what I love. I love to hear that from you. Also, we're going to do Oh, yeah, we both love it. I'm gonna go. We're gonna do probably a mailbag soon too. So if you want to send us some emails, that would be sweet
It's just a
for the
full mailbag
mailbag.
episode. It's just everybody is arguing about Sora, whether he's a good
I
character or not.
mean, I think that's good. I think that's a good use of our time. Honestly, everyone
Yeah,
wants to talk
we'll
about
do a
it.
whole episode on that.
Yeah. So you can send us an email at codexhistorypodcast@gmail.com, or you can go to codexpodcast.net. Send us an email that way too. Tyler, what you been playing?
Well, I've been traveling a lot, so I've been restricted to what I can play on my handhelds. I took my handheld PC with me when I drove up to Washington, and I played pretty much exclusively Final Fantasy II. I've been on kind of a Final Fantasy kick since I finished 16. I bought the Pixel remasters and went back. I finished Final Fantasy 1. I think I talked about that a couple weeks ago um, when we recorded in person at your house. And since then, I've been working on Final Fantasy II. I finally finished it yesterday. And the music for the last dungeon called Pandemonium is very epic. And I know that the latest raid tier in Final Fantasy 14 is also called Pandemonium. And I think that there's probably some really great remixes of that song. And so I'm like really motivated to finish Endwalker so that I can play those raids because I'm so excited. Uh,
Nice.
but other than that, I haven't been playing a whole lot. I did play some little bit of Zelda with my brother and his kids when I visited. That was really fun. We played some Mario Kart, and I did not go easy on the children. Uh,
Nice.
his
Ruthless.
7-year-old
That's
thought he could
important.
beat me. Couldn't beat me. Sorry, bud. I've been playing Mario Kart way longer than you've been alive. So,
Even the Mario Kart rules won't save you. That's not going to
yep,
save you. Mario
yep.
Kart mechanics can't save you here. I am the uncle now, is what you said to him.
That is exactly what I said. And it's Mario Kart 8. So even, I mean, I know it's like 5 or 6 years old on Switch, but it goes all the way back to the Wii U. Just that game by itself is older than that kid. And so no
Wow.
mercy. I just destroyed him.
Good. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear on this podcast. I have been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3. I'm obsessed. It's my favorite thing. They really nailed D&D in a video game, and I love it.
I'm excited to play that with you. I think we're going to get a crew
It's
together
going to
and
be really fun.
co-op.
It's going to be really fun. And then I got married, so I didn't play any games that weekend, unfortunately. And then I'm just kidding. It was fine. It was great. Tyler was there. It was wonderful. We all had a great
So
time.
fun.
Meteor shower the night of the
Yeah,
wedding.
that was really
Didn't
nice.
even plan it. That was really nice. And then I also been picking up this week. I picked up Stardew Valley again to do like the Golden Walnut stuff on Ginger Island, just as like a way to like play a chill game, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, nice.
So yeah, that's kind of what I've been playing. Pretty chill times. But yeah, send us an email, codexhistorypodcast@gmail.com. Go to codexpodcast.net for all our links to like everything you could ever want. And I think maybe next week we do a mailbag if we got enough emails. Maybe we do a history episode. I don't know. We're kind of
Yeah,
back though. We're back from
we are
our
back.
hiatus.
Yep. We had a month or two in there where we were kind of sketchy, but we're back now. Back in
We're back.
California. Mike's back at his home. Um, and we can make some more content.
We can make some stuff happen. We got a lot of cool things coming up. A lot of cool guests potentially along the way
Yeah,
too, which I'm stoked about.
me
So
too.
it'll be fun. But anywho, Tyler, do you want to say bye to everybody?
Goodbye, everybody. Did I start before? Did you
I
start before?
can't. I don't remember honestly. I can't remember. If you're feeling it, if you feel the
I'm
need to
feeling it.
start for speed, you should do it.
I want to start up this podcast. I'm feeling it.
Where do we get right now?
Press the record button. I'm feeling this. Okay.
Trying hard not to swear. This is a clean podcast. Okay, I'm ready when you are.
It is so hot in here.
And the spiders.